This is my quick and dirty intro to running Nessus from the Auditor boot CD. I highly recommend that you do more research than just watching this flash animation before you begin work with Nessus on your servers. Nessus, when used in the wrong way, can cause your servers major problems while scanning for vulnerabilities. You obviously don't want to be pulling a denial of service attack against yourself. Nessus is an open source vulnerability scanner. Its use of plugins that users can create themselves makes it quite flexible. This flash tutorial will show you how to run Nessus from the Auditor boot CD. You can download the Auditor boot CD from remote-exploit.org, and you can find out more about the Nessus vulnerability scanner from nessus.org. Please excuse the strange aspect ratio of this presentation, as this is the way I had to set it up so you can see all of the interface in Nessus. When you try to run Nessus, definitely try to run it in 1024 by 768 or greater. For this presentation I will be running Auditor version 15.04.05-04. Newer versions may vary quite a bit. Nessus uses a client-server design that allows the user to set up one Nessus server that has multiple Nessus clients that can attach to it and initiate vulnerability scans. For this demonstration I'll just be attaching the Nessus client to the server daemon running on the local host. For those Microsoft Windows users out there, you may want to look into using the Nessus WX client available at the following URL. Booting the Auditor CD, you should see a screen something like this. To keep from automatically announcing itself on the network, Auditor requires you to configure your network interfaces manually. To do this, we just simply use ifconfig to bring up our network interface, and then use pump to give it an IP address from DHCP. I'll skip running the pump command since I've already done it previously and I don't want to sever my connection to the server. Running Nessus from a hard drive install, you want to be aware of commands like Nessus add user to add new users, as well as Nessus update plugins. I recommend playing with both of them when you do a hard drive install of Nessus. For now we'll use the script that comes along with Auditor called start Nessus. This should start up the Nessus daemon in the background, as well as an interface we can use to control it. As you may have noticed, I tell the Nessus script that I don't want to provide additional plugins at this time. That's done, I log in with the username Auditor and the password Auditor and tell it to accept the certificate. Some of the plugins check for denial of service vulnerabilities. I choose to enable all but the dangerous plugins. However, Nessus could still possibly cause problems for the server you scan with it. So please take care. While I'm at it, I can set options for the port scanner that runs as a precursor to the vulnerabilities checks. Now it's time for me to select the targets I want Nessus to scan. I can input them as IP addresses or names. I can also have them read from a file. If I wanted to scan more than one in, I can separate them with a semicolon. For the sake of speed of this demonstration, I'll simply choose to scan the loopback address of the local host. 127.0.0.1. There's no place like home. Since vulnerability scans can take such a long time, I'm truncating this section for brevity. Scan's finished, I can click around and look at information about that host as well as possible vulnerabilities on it. Be aware that sometimes vulnerabilities are reported that aren't that big a deal, and sometimes you get false positives. So use the links provided, do some research, and don't freak out. This has the ability to create a report in several formats. In this case, I'll export as an HTML file with plenty of pretty graphics that management types like so much. And then I can view this in Mozilla, Firefox, or if I want to copy it to a Windows box, Internet Explorer. But why would I want to do a silly thing like that? Once again, please keep in mind that this is just a quick intro to running Nessus from the Auditor boot CD. You really want to do more research on it before you run it against your own servers to try to check for vulnerabilities. Please consult the documentation provided by the links at the end of this tutorial. Check out the following links for further research on how to use Nessus and the Auditor boot CD. Special thanks to my cohorts, Droops at informaticon.org for the bandwidth he provides me, Nick at rootsecure.net for the news, Max at remoteexploit.org for the wonderful CD that I used to create this tutorial, and the folks at antionline.com for all their support.